Let's move on to Sunday, and we start with the team that everybody wants to talk about all of a sudden, the Atlanta Falcons. 6-0 against the spread. Only 11 times since 1989 as a team opened 6-0 against the spread. 3-3, 1-2 on the road at the Cincinnati Bengals. 3-3, 1-1 at home, Paycor Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio. Nice weather this weekend. Again, it's really cold midweek, but then it gets nice everywhere in the weekend. 71 Fahrenheit, mostly sunny, 9 miles per hour. These Falcons opened up as 6.5-point dogs, and that 6.5 got up to minus 123. It looked like there might be a 6 coming, but it's back to minus 111. Then from a total standpoint, we have it opening up at 45, and it's gone up to 47. That's where we are right now. Move over to the cash flow in this one. I'll move over here. Falcons, Cincy, 7,817 tickets in, 36% of the tickets, 44% of the cash on Cincinnati. Then 91% of the tickets and 98% of the cash. And I know the sample size is small, but 91 and 98 on the over, and we've seen it go up. Sky Dragon will get us rolling. He says the 2 times Atlanta stepped up in class, they got whipped by the Rams and Bucks. They scored garbage time TDs. They were never in either game. Viper says the total's gone under in 10 of Cincinnati's last 11 games, and the total's gone under in 10 of Atlanta's last 15 games. The Falcons coming off their most impressive win to date this year. Arthur Smith clearly doing a very good job. 28-14 victory at home over the Niners. Mariota 13 of 14 for 129 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Completed his first 13 passes before throwing that lone incompletion on the final attempt of the day. He also ran 6 times for 50 yards. Olamide Zacchaeus led receivers with 4 catches for 58 yards. Drake London caught 3 for 40. Kyle Pitts returned from injury, caught 3 passes for 19 yards and a touchdown. Only his second career touchdown, which is wild for how many yards he put up last year. Caleb Huntley ran 16 times for 59 yards, and Tyler Algier ran 15 times for 51 yards. So I guess that quells the concern of Cordell Patterson being out of the lineup. They didn't get a ton of pressure on Garoppolo, 0 sacks and 4 quarterback hits, but the defense was strong. They held the 49ers to just 50 yards rushing. Isaiah Oliver and Jalen Hawkins had interceptions. Oliver got hurt late in the game, but walked off under his own power. A.J. Terrell was injured in the second half and didn't return. So Atlanta's other starting quarterback, Casey Hayward, hobbled off late in the game with a shoulder injury. So Arthur Smith didn't really give us any updates, but Terrell declared that the absence was precautionary and was done to ensure that he'll be good to go next week against the Bengals. The Bengals come in off a come from behind 30-26 win on the road in New Orleans. Burrow 28-37 for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Jamar Chase 7 catches for 132 yards, 2 TDs, and that 60-yard catch and run with 1:57 left. Tyler Boyd 6 for 66. Mixon ran 8 for 45, caught 4 for 23. The defense had difficulty stopping an Andy Dalton-led offense that was missing its top 3 receivers. And I know that they have options with Taysom Hill and things like that, but that was surprising that they couldn't stop that offense, and that the Saints were in control most of the game. Again, I don't know if you need to worry too much about this Falcons offense. Take it away for us, Andy. Atlanta Falcons at Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, it was a good spot for them last week with the 49ers coming in, all those injuries. I mean, massive amounts of injuries. Sounds like the 49ers, we'll get to them in a bit, are going to end up getting a bunch of players back over the next week or two, and they might be right back where they should be. Quick question I wanted to answer I don't know how to say this guy's name, Saturated. That means I had to say it out loud to get to it because it looks like Saturday. And then, all right, Saturated. Yeah, last year, the average score, regular season games, was 46.1 points. I just pulled it up as of yesterday. The average score this year is 43.3, so almost 3 points less per game. And we've had about 100 games through the season, so it's a half-decent sample. Scoring is down by almost a field goal so far this year. We'll see what the refs do. Maybe we'll see more of what we saw last night, where the refs are like, hey, let's move these offenses along with tons of pass interference and, a couple of real questionable, roughing the passer, which neither of those was very I don't know, convincing. I did bet the Cincinnati Bengals already here. This is a really good matchup for them. I know they're saying, positive things on some of these injuries, but the fact of the matter is the Falcons had 3 injuries to cornerbacks last week. If any of those guys are even dinged up in this one, this is such a nightmare matchup because, the Cincinnati Bengals have become one of the most simple teams to kind of handicap if they'll win a game or not. If Joe Burrow is under duress constantly, he doesn't handle it all that well as far as, running into sacks. A lot of the sacks are his fault, not the offensive lines. If there's not a pass rush, the offense is going to be fine. They're at home. There's not a pass rush for Atlanta. They've been horrid. They didn't get a single sack last week against a beat-up offensive line and a quarterback I don't really trust. And their corners got hurt. Cornerbacks, your defensive secondary and your pass rush kind of work in tandem, and both of them are bad because of just not having the bodies at the pass rush and now having some injuries in the defensive secondary. So Cincinnati team total over, Cincinnati and the over, however you want to bet. I think Cincinnati could put up like 35 here. This is one of those where this offense is just going to get rolling right. And the Falcons couldn't be higher in the market as, what they are right now. They're, they've won 6 straight against the spread. They still, they eventually the market is going to adjust enough. This was on the other side of 7 during the summer when these, all the lines were released here. So it's not a good matchup. I think the Falcons can win enough games to make the playoffs just based on where they are already. Like the fact that they've gotten to this point, they've won some games they weren't supposed to. I think this team could sneak into the NFC playoffs. It's just not a good matchup week for them. So I think they do get blowed out.
What do you want to make official here for record keeping?
So I whatever you can get me now. I bet -6, -05 yesterday. I'm sure that's gone up a touch.
It has, but there's 6s that are widely available.
Yeah, I mean
-108.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Yeah, that all makes sense. Did you have any interest in first half, full game, moving around, or did you just want that full?
Just the 6.
Yeah, this all makes sense to me. It all makes sense. So Eric Swiatek says his model has Cincy -2.5 and says Falcons still get no respect. Sammy Comer says Bengals by 10, and Topset says I'm on the Bengals. This game screams letdown for the Falcons. Sorry, my blowout special this week, and that is why it's spelled wrong. For anyone who's sitting there going, these guys don't even know how to spell fucking Falcon. It's the people are making fun of me, and that's why it's spelled that way. So, all right, that's Andy's in. I want into.
Yeah, and truthfully too, just from a game state standpoint, the Falcons are good if they're ahead. Like I know they've had some of these games with garbage points to get in the back door, but it's going to be tough with what they're having right now. For as far as this matchup, Cincinnati is going to be able to keep on the gas. Like if it starts getting close, the offense is going to be able to just kick right back into gear. It's not going to be like the Rams game. That Rams offense we've seen, it's not good. Mm-hmm. So I'm not worried about the Bengals getting backdoored here either.
I like it. We are locked in. Andy is on the board, and I would like to join. Let's move on